Hello Pisces, welcome to Monarch Intuition, and today I'm going to be doing our February 2023 monthly check-in reading for you. So if you're new to my channel, what I like to do is I like to pull one major arcana to see the energy and then clarify with the different deck. So what major arcana needs to come up for the sign of Pisces? What's going on for you? We have the death energy, so the end of something right here. Now it doesn't always have to be bitter, it can be good right here. Remember, when we retire, that is the ending of a situation. It doesn't always have to be a physical death. But what do we need to know for Pisces? What's going on with this? It's funny because I just tried to do your reading and I had the World card, but I had to stop it because something was going on in the background. So what do we need to know with Pisces energy? What's going on for you? I'm going to be using the Revelations Tarot. So you have the Wheel of Fortune. You have the Magician in reversed. And you have the Two of Wands. So here's the thing. You have the ending of something, but the start of something new right here. But I feel like you have to let go of this Magician energy. So there is an end of a cycle, and I kind of feel like it makes you sad with this Magician in reversed. I feel like you've learned all you can learn, or you've done all you can do in a situation, and it's time for you to move on to a new situation for yourself, a new Two of Wands. So what do we need to know about this Wheel of Fortune? You've completed a cycle, completed a certain phase within your life. So the Hanged Man and the Four of Skulls. You have enlightenment, but you're holding on to it. You're holding on to your enlightenment right here, or you're not letting go from things of the past to gain enlightenment. It's like you understand everything that you need to understand, but you're still holding on to the past. The Magician, you have the Temperance coming out with the Four of Knives. The angels are trying to give you peace right here. The Angel of Temperance is coming out and offering you this Four of Knives, this peaceful situation, this peaceful ending. The Two of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune with the Six of Scepters. But I feel like you want to go off on a new adventure again. You want to have some sort of, victory. So this is very interesting for you, Pisces. You're offered a very peaceful ending. But there's a new opportunity to spin yourself into the Wheel of Fortune with the Six of Wands to go around a cycle again, or a new cycle right here. So I feel like in between a cycle, there is some peace. You ended something, you've seen the enlightenment, but you're not wanting to use it for yourself. You're not wanting to gain the enlightenment. You're wondering what's going on with this Magician energy, why it's in reverse, why you have to let something go. It's so that you can have peace to take care of yourself, to recover, so that way you can go on to this new cycle, so that way you can look good, because the Six of Scepters is kind of represents Leo energy. It wants you to look good. It wants you to have, a fresh face, a fresh, feature. What's going on with this energy? Two of Scepters again, the Ten of Scepters, and the Daughter of Knives. So the new opportunity is allowing you to drop the burden of a situation and seeing something for what it is. Seeing the King of Pentacles as the Five of Pentacles. It's allowing you to see this King of Pentacles as being a burden. As it's not all it's cracked up to be. It's kind of like not wanting to let go of something. You're not wanting to let go of a certain cycle, and you're not wanting to see a new cycle. You're not wanting to see something for what it actually is. The Hierophant. The King of Pentacles is walking around outside instead of just going into the Hierophant. Instead of just dropping the burden and going back to the Hierophant, going back into, the Enlightenment period. You're scared with the Nine of Swords, or Nine of Swords of Justice. I kind of feel like you're scared to go back home. You're scared to face the Pope. You're scared to face the boss. You're scared to face the Empress and the Six of Knives. But I feel like the Empress is going to give you some sort of peace, peaceful transition, peaceful place to go. It's kind of like the story of the prodigal son. I said that in one of the other readings. It's like you're scared to transition into a new phase within your life, because it's kind of like going back to the past. It's like you're wandering outside in the cold. You're scared of how the Hierophant is going to treat you if you go back inside. But the balance is that the Empress gives you the Six of Knives. It gives you a peaceful life. it's kind of like ending a negative pact within the past and then wandering around like, well, what do I do now? I've just ended that negative pact, I've ended that contract of whatever. And then realizing that you always have the opportunity to return from, like, return to what you know, return to your roots, return to an old situation, an old thing that's actually more fulfilling for you. The Eight of Knives, maybe it felt a little bit too constricting, but you weren't seeing the Tower. You weren't seeing what something was protecting you from, but now I feel like you do. It's kind of like, in a weird way, you're struggling with your own morality right here, Pisces. Maybe at one point you grew up into a more traditional home, right? Or maybe that's something that you always wanted. Whatever the situation is, I kind of feel like you went out and did your own thing, right? And on your way out there, you saw a lot of treachery, you saw a lot of sadness, but now you're doing pretty well for yourself, right? You have some sort of peace, but you feel a little bored and you want to kind of go back out there and have some fun. But the angels are the ones that are offering you peace right here. If you want to continue to have your peace, you need to continue to follow the right path. I kind of feel like you need to go back into like a more traditional sense of things to balance out the scales of your own anxiety. The Empress is going to give you a peaceful, you know, like, let you go back. It's similar to that, the prodigal son. He went out, he learned everything he had to learn about the world, he spent all of his money, and then he's like, I'd rather just go back home. The reason he left his home in the first place was because it's too constricting, but here's the thing, that constricting energy, that confines, was to prevent you from being in total disaster and total ruin. The Ace of Wands, the Fool, you're being offered a brand new opportunity. You're being offered a new slate within your life. The Strength energy here, the angels are here to protect you and shut the mouth of the lion. You have the Three of Swords, you have the Moonlight energy, and you have the Devil. But you're still really scared about this Devil energy back here. Or you're still paranoid about it. You're still looking back at what you did with the Devil and still very upset. Imagine this, for example, okay? I'm just going to use this as an example. Imagine you're just an average, everyday girl or guy, right? And you got caught up in, say, the Manson cult. And when Charles Manson finally went to prison, a lot of his followers did too, but there are a few who were let go. And they have absolute remorse and regret because they did a lot of like satanic rituals, they did a lot of weird shit, right? And that's what this situation is you're looking back on all that weird stuff that you did in the past and saying, why did I do that? But it's because you left the confines of the Hierophant. You allowed yourself to be taken advantage of in the past. You left whatever this is. And maybe you didn't even have that. I'm not going to say everyone had that. Maybe you were just, you know, didn't have anything. Now you have the ability to look back on whatever this situation is. And you're worried and you're regretful about it, but you have a clean slate. It's kind of like, you know, those people waking up from that Manson cult. They go home and they're like, well, I'm not in trouble. I regret everything that I did. I can't believe I was involved in that. And, it, you know, some of the interviews keep those people awake at night. Sometimes those people are just really, you know, anxious about it. The Nine of Wands, but you survived it, though. You survived that energy. Okay? You survived whatever this was. You're looking back on it in paranoia. Because that's what the moon brings. It brings paranoia and sadness. And it makes you go around and around in circles with this devil energy. The Lord of Grails with the Nine of Skulls. It's rushing towards the King of Grails. The King of... In this deck, it's the King of Blood, right? and rushing towards the garden and understanding that this king is trying to offer you peace within this garden. But a lot of people left or went into those Manson cults because they felt like they were very confined and very constricted in the first place. Was it really, that bad? Just studying, going to school, doing all those things? Did they really need to screw up their life that badly to join that cult? Most people who join cults really, are scared of them after they get out of them. Most of them are very regretful. And maybe you grew up in a cult, okay? That's another big deal, is maybe you grew up inside of a cult and you freed yourself from that and you're terrified of going back into one. But I feel like the angel is trying to offer you some sort of peace right here. Trying to show you the light, trying to help you feel better about a situation. Not saying that you have to go back and, go back into a cult or anything like that, or go to wherever you want to go, but it's trying to draw you to find the right path of your life, okay? There is an ending, but it's over, okay? The ending of treachery with the devil, that heartbreak, you're just looking back on it. You have a brand new opportunity with the blank slate and the strength card. Remember, the Fool trumps everything, okay? The Fool trumps. It's the strongest card in the major and the minor. I just feel like you got tied up with a lot of bad people and now you're offered some sort of, peaceful phase. There's balance. The scales are balancing out. You're looking back on the things that you've overcome. You're saying, there's treacherous. Why did I do that? Don't beat yourself up over it because you're still here. With the Lord of Grails offering you this 9 of Pentacles. And this 10 of Cups is coming out, offering you some sort of blissful state from this 10 of Swords. There's also death right here. There's balance with the Ace of Knives. The 2 of Pentacles with the Ace of Knives. You have the Prince of Knives, the Judgment, and the Prince of Skulls coming out. There's a sharp truth about judgment, okay? It's kind of like the Catholic concept of purgatory. What is purgatory? A lot of people don't quite understand that. I'm not saying that you're Catholic or anything, but I'm going to give you the concept of it. For example, people know that, you have different pacts and entities. People pacted themselves. People were pagans, whatever. And even people who left Christianity to go be pagans when they came back, there was that concept of purgatory because even though their physical sins were forgiven, their spiritual ones were not. There is that concept for people about a suffering to attain enlightenment after they die. And I kind of feel like that's what you're afraid of. I feel like you're more afraid of the eternal suffering rather than a temporary one, okay? The Hermit. But that's the thing, is it's not an eternal thing. The Four of Grails with the 2 of Cups and the Magician. Yeah, sometimes you just have to pay off those magician debts, though. But it's not for eternity, though. There's an old song, Johnny Cash sang it. It's called The Old Account Was Settled. And it says, even if you have to spend 100 years below, the old account was settled long ago. And I kind of feel like that's the case for you. I feel like in a non-spiritual sense, you are dealing with an ending that was tragic because you're still paying for a situation but that situation will eventually be paid off. So for example, if you have to pay child support, when those children grow up, you'll not have to pay child support anymore. That was a judgment. It was a very harsh judgment. You're looking back on things with regret right here, but that's the thing, is it's like you can't look back on that. You can only look forward to the future and then move on with your life. The Eight of Scepters, the Ace of Skulls with the Daughter of Grails. What's coming in is this Ace of Skulls, this gift being offered to the Daughter of Grails. It's some sort of peaceful message that will allow you to grow into the Daughter of Skulls or Daughter of Scepters. Allow you to mature into a more happy, healthy individual. The Seven of Grails with the Queen of Cups, yeah. Allowing you to receive the true cup. So there are 7 paths you can take, but there's one cup with enlightenment. And the Queen of Grails is offering you the one cup of enlightenment right here. Yeah, the Ace of Cups coming out. And the Victory with the Chariot. Now, I know not everyone believes in purgatory or anything like that. I'm using that as an analogy. I know a lot of people who watch tarot readings are more like pagans and whatnot. However, I read it from a more biblical perspective, more Catholic perspective, because Catholics came up with their tarot card system. So, the major arcanas. So when I look at this situation right here, I kind of feel like it's on a more, you're afraid of the devil. You're afraid of pacts, things of the past. Understanding that there is some sort of redemption right here. You don't have to spend the eternity there, but you might have to pay for it later on. But it is a maturity process. There is a victory process going on. Maybe you are paying on a physical level for like child support, or maybe you're just even paying with your own happiness, and your own regret is what is paying the situation off. That could be that could be your issue as well, is that you are just so oppressed by whatever this is. The Queen of Wands, the Seven of Swords, and the World, yeah. But that's the thing, it's meant to steal your joy. It's meant to make you unhappy. That's the whole point, is that after you see this situation play out, the whole goal is for it to make you so paranoid so you don't go on to new cycles in order to be happy. That's the cleverness about these things right here, is that the paranoia prevents you from ever moving forward in your life. The Prince of Scepters, but you have a wish, coming out with the Nine of Cups, the Three of Cups, and the High Priestess. It's kind of like you can tell other people now your story. You can, guide other people, and you can even use your own life as a reference point of what not to do. You have transformation with the community, be community. There's a transformation within the community. Someone in the community could be passing away and ascending right here. You have communication. Maybe you're going to be communicating that. Resourceful. Maybe people want you to help out with this, burial process. I'm not saying that's the case, but I feel like there's also a transformation in the community once communication comes out about how resourceful you are. Okay? Have empowerment with reconciliation. You'll be empowered by reconciling things with your past right here. Understanding. It's kind of like even looking back, like, how did I survive those situations, right? That's what you're saying to yourself. How did I get out of that situation? How did I survive that? Because, some of us live some pretty crazy lives, right? So I feel like that's what you are looking at right here, and that's what's preventing you from moving forward, is that scariness. But now you know the truth of that. Now you know how dangerous life can be. It's kind of like that transition phase. You are dealing with your own mortality right here. You are facing the mortality of you. And you're looking back on your life saying, I remember when I used to be happy and not have a care in the world. But as you get older, the more you tend to face your own mortality, because you're like, I don't want to. It's like you took your youth for granted. the cosmic blueprint, and that's the whole point of the cosmic blueprint, is that you're supposed to age. The unalone and the sparkling synchronicity, that's how you become wise, is by going through those cycles, by looking back on the past, by looking back on who you were as an individual. And that's the sparkling synchronicity. It's like, you know, those older people who just have really good advice, they just know exactly what it is. It's because they've been through that. You'd be surprised about how many older people went through it. And they're able to, tell you, they're able to teach you, they're able to show you the things because they've also been through it. The skull of flowers, creating through the ashes, skeleton, strength, and ancestors, love and legacy of our DNA. And you know what's funny? Here's a little tidbit of information. The good die young, but there ain't no fool like an old fool. That's what this is right here. I kind of feel like for you is that you're facing this fool energy, and I feel like you're really scared of that. You're facing who you are as an individual. So, skeleton, creating through the ashes, strength. Start moving forward now. There's an ending, but you can create from that ending. You have the strength. You have the strength card coming out twice. You have a new cycle coming in, being offered to you. Love and legacy through our DNA, our ancestors. I feel like your ancestors could be trying to communicate with you. Maybe you need to go to a cemetery and talk to your ancestors. Like in a respectful way. Don't go out there with a Ouija board or anything like that. I'm talking like, you haven't gone down to see your grandma or whatever. Maybe it'd be a good time for you to go and do that. Bring some flowers. You have answers, wisdom, learning, communication, tradition, contemplation, wise counsel. Spiritual meaning is divine aid, creative spark, and initiation. Fehe, achieve a goal, attract money, succeed in business, or attain a promotion or a new job. So I feel like this is a very good reading for you, Pisces. It's just maturity. It's looking back on the past, wisening up. School of Hard Knocks. The devil coming out. The devil is here. It's making you confused. It's trying to hold you back from moving forward. One more card. The Judgment, though. You're scared of the devil's judgment, and I don't feel like you need to be. I feel like if you've moved past it, you're moving into a new situation, a new cycle, you're trying to attain enlightenment, you're trying to be a better person, don't allow it to hold you back. If you go and talk to someone who's much older and who's been through that stuff, they'll tell you the same things that they did. You think that, these older people out there just never did anything bad. They've done a lot of bad things, okay? Remember, the good die young. So that's what this is right here. So anyway, Pisces, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll talk to you later.